Good morning and welcome to Mayor's Weekly. As always, we're pleased to have you with us. Spring is here, and that's an exciting time, I think, for most everybody to begin to get outside and enjoy the beauty of our surroundings. And joining me today is Blair Funderburk. Blair's been here before, and Blair is a person that I'm asked about often, and that question goes something like this. Who is that lady that works so diligently to keep downtown Jasper pretty? And that's Blair Funderburk. She does a fabulous job of that, and one of the things, a lot of things I observe about Blair, but I talked to her and enthusiastic about her work. I believe she enjoys what she does, and there's probably not a week that goes by that I don't hear comments from somebody, and many times it's people that have come to our city, live elsewhere, whatever, and they talk about how nice downtown is, how well kept it is, how pretty it is, and so with the coming of spring, there are things that we do to beautify our city, and Blair is right in the middle of that and thinking through what we do and when we do it. And Blair, I know right around the corner you worked on this. You worked with our vendor, but we're going to get hanging baskets. When we're going?
Well, we're looking at getting them next week sometime.
Next.
Yes, sir. And then once they come in, we'll get them hung up and stuff like that, and then it starts from there.
And Blair, we've talked about this before, but it's worth talking about again. Sometimes we have people say, well, you send things out of town, to be done. Sometimes you have to do just that. But I believe we have a vendor over in East Walker County, don't we?
Yeah, Shane Wilson's. It's Wilson's Farms. He's out of Corner. He done them last year, done a great job, and was all very pleased with him. So that's who's doing them this year.
Yeah. And Blair, you have a hand in deciding what plants are going in those baskets and what has worked well for us. Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
And how many of those will we put out, Blair?
We're going to put about a little bit over 90 hanging pots. So.
And that's pretty good coverage of our city, and we're so pleased we can do that. I signed the checks, and I think that's something over $5,000 for plants, is it not?
Yes, sir. And we kept it in our budget, like we did last year. We kept it in, close to the budget. So.
Right. And another thing that we've talked about, and I think this is going to happen, anytime you put things in the sun that doesn't have cover or whatever, or I say expose it to the sun and other elements that they tend to bleach and whatever, and the bark that we have around our shrub beds and along our curbs and whatever, it just bleaches out, doesn't it?
Yeah, most definitely. Or you can have a lot that will burn. Or then we do have some in some spots. There's not a lot of sun. There's a few places that doesn't get a lot of sun, and sometimes they won't grow as fast as the other ones do too, as well. But
I think we're about to put new bark in downtown. We're always so appreciative of Jasper Sawmill for their support of this effort, and we were talking with them, I think, last week, and I think the pine bark mulch was in short supply, but we have some in inventory, and we may pick up some there. So we're hoping to do that in conjunction with hanging the baskets and keeping downtown looking the way I think most all of us want downtown to look. Blair, I through downtown, I see you, I talk to you often. Just talk a little bit about what you do to maintain downtown, and like I said, keep it looking like we want it to look. But I see you working from everything from picking up trash to power blowers, and another assignment that Blair has, and some people don't know this, and but the history and I can share that in more detail. It's too lengthy to talk about it today. But the grass area in front of the county courthouse, that belongs to the city of Jasper. The county courthouse has a zero light line, and I just share that for information purposes only. But the responsibility for that grass area, those trees, and that sort of thing falls in Blair's area of responsibility. But Blair, kind of a normal day in downtown Jasper, what all things you work on?
Well, the first thing we do, we pick the trash up. Excuse me. We pick trash up and try to, get everything cleaned up. Well, not only do we cut grass, we edge, we blow the sidewalks off and stuff like that, but we do put out weed killer and stuff like that to kill all the weeds in the grass. So we have, grass, ant poison, because we don't want a bunch of ant beds with, kids playing on the square. So we do the ant poison, trim the trees up and stuff. A little bit about everything, really.
Well, no, and it's a bigger job than you might think, because you fix it today, it needs to be fixed again tomorrow. Is that
Most
right?
definitely, most definitely. Especially on Mondays.
Mondays. Well, Blair, we've talked about this, and I'm going to ask this question, no one answered it. It's pretty hanging baskets. As beauty. As you move around and looking after those, they have to be watered, and we add some soil amendments to keep them growing and pretty. Do you ever find cigarette butts and beverage containers in our hanging basket?
All the time.
All the time.
Cigarette butts drives me bonkers. They are everywhere, and if you see me picking, everybody's like, "What are you picking up?" Cigarette butts, because they are everywhere. Beer bottles. People hit them and run. Hit the baskets, break them, knock them down.
But as you work around, do we have places where those sort of items could be disposed of properly?
Yes, sir, we do. We have plenty of places for them to go.
And we don't put the hanging baskets up for beer bottles and cigarette butts.
That's exactly right.
Right. Well, I'm going to call on you to let's do better than that and trying to beautify our city. That's if you're a taxpayer in this city, when you do just such, you're working against yourself, and that's the only way you can put it. And that we've got receptacles where you can discard your cigarette butts, beverage containers, whatever, and if you beverage container that still has some of its contents in it, that's not good for our plants, and oftentimes you can't reverse what that does to them. So I wish you would tell your friends, if you're watching this, whatever, let's do a better job of that. And when Blair doesn't have to do that, she can do other things to enhance the beauty of downtown Jasper. Now, Blair, is your assignment pretty much downtown Jasper all the time?
Yes, sir.
Now,
unless we have something extra, Russ might send us off to, do something extra, but besides that, downtown is our.
Right. And I believe Deb Nix works for the two of you. That's your focus. Now, let me share with you something that that I was extremely pleased to take a leadership role in. Is our farmers market out on Airport Road. That's located on county property, and it's of course obviously a county-owned facility, and it's gotten in a poor state of repair. We had roof issues and craters in the parking lot, and you'd go out there on the day that the vendors are there, and cars would just be parked at random. And so I reached out to the chairman of the Walker County Commission, and I said, we're willing to put some money into this to dress this up, and they agreed to put some money in, and we made roof repairs. We did a tar and gravel service on the parking lot. Our folks striped the parking lot, and you go there today, people are parked in an orderly fashion, and the sign out front. We had a sign that been there way past its value, faded out. It looked terrible. We worked here in City Hall. We have some very creative minds to come up with a sign that we thought was fitting for the farmers market, and if you've seen it, if you looked at it, I think it really is. But it's made of a vinyl material that weathers nicely, but dust accumulates, it fungus grows on it, whatever. And I noticed that as I drive by that sign about every day coming to work, and and I asked Blair if she would go out and, if you will, give that sign a bath and clean it, and she has done just that. It looks like new, and did some things, putting herbicide down around the base of the sign so it can look nice, because the farmers market will be opening before we know it, and we've just talked about some other things that need to be done there. So,
Yeah, well,
anything along those lines, Blair seems to always be on standby to take care of that. Blair, what else is going on? I know you're based down in our maintenance area. I go there and I see things that you're working with. Anything else that I know you're always forward thinking, try to keep things pretty in front of City Hall. What else do you have on your mind?
Well, I mean, I think I've got everything covered. Just comes through the day, it might hit me. Something. But right now, I think we've got everything about covered. As soon as these plants come in, we won't have much projects to have to do, but that's going to be our, focus on those.
One of the things that's been challenging, and there's not a great deal we can do about it, the sidewalks were funded with grant money. They have to be ADA compliant, and we could do things that could cause us to have to reimburse the funding source for those sidewalks, and the spacing between the sidewalk and the curb ties into the ADA compliance, and that is if a person were in a wheelchair or some sort of handicap mobility apparatus, whatever, that if you left the sidewalk, that you would hit that area that does not have concrete or whatever, and hopefully would keep you from going on into the street. And we have crosswalks, but they're not used as well as we'd like, and they've trampled down the plants that we have there, and we're thinking and trying to figure out what we can do and not violate the agreements that we entered into for the grant funding. Something that could be more durable and at the same time allow us to add beauty to downtown Jasper. But that's really been a challenge, not something we've ignored. If you're downtown, you watch people moving, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Walk rather than going to the crosswalk, walk through the plants, whatever, and the plants and the bedding material just does not tolerate that very well, does it?
No, it does not. We've tried it. We've put there's stepping stones, so when you open your door, they're right there.
Yeah.
Or at the square at the courthouse, instead of walking around on the sidewalk, they walk right down beside the monument, and
Yeah.
they've got about getting a walk path right there, And I'm always telling them to walk around the sidewalk. So.
But Blair, I know we've talked a good bit about the lawn out in front of the courthouse, and you worked on this and coming up with the right fertilization for that grass and to make that pretty. And I'm sure that's something that you'll be doing soon, won't you, to bring that along?
Oh, yeah. Deb, she does a lot of that. She keeps up with a lot of that, on what we're going to put on it, and actually we've done pretty good with keeping the weeds down and stuff like that. The courthouse square has been a challenge for us.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know why, but it has. But we've been doing it all. We've really not stopped putting fertilizer and putting like weed preventive and stuff down. So it's it's always going.
I think I've told this story here, and we'll wrap up with this. It's a great story. Blair's heard me tell it many, many times. But as a general rule, the Festival of Lights kicks off on the Friday evening after Thanksgiving, and probably 2 years ago, of course, that time of year, it starts 6:30, 7 o'clock. Night falls in place, and I go there and I see this person that's just working like crazy doing things, and I said, I really believe that person's on par with Blair Thunderburk. I didn't realize we had two folks with that kind of energy and work ethic and whatever. I had never seen Blair with her hair down. She always keeps her hair up. And this person, I said, well, it can't be Blair. And so I got over, and it was Blair, and we laughed about that. But
I think about it all the time.
She had her hair down that evening, and we've laughed about
Yes,
that, haven't
we
Blair?
have.
We have. Good. But Blair, so pleased to have you join us, and thank
be
you for
here.
the great job you do. And it really, what you do, your enthusiasm bodes well for our city, and image is so important as we work to grow this city, and we are growing, and a lot of good things happening. But pleased to have you here this
Thank you.
morning, and we will look forward to being with you next week, and have questions. If you have questions, please send them our way, and we'll work toward getting you an answer.